What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Ravens Today Show. I'm your host, Connor Gioffreda, and today we get to talk about one of my favorite times of the year, mock draft season, baby. Lead up to the NFL draft. I love this time, man. We get to see so many crazy mock drafts for specific teams. You know, as crazy as quarterbacks going to specific teams that don't need them. We see wide receivers, running backs, and defenses. Heck, even kickers. We get to see all these mock drafts come up during this time of the year, and I love it. I love debating with people about what we need, what we don't need, and my personal picks for this draft coming up. But first, let's get into the more broad topic here. We're going to get into, will the Ravens trade for a higher pick? It's not uncommon for them, for any team really, to do it. Ravens are sitting at number 27 in the NFL draft this season. For the 2025-26 season, not a terrible place to be. There are a lot of shifts and motions that can happen for the Ravens to be able to get a higher pick. But there are a lot of eggs that need to fall into place. You need to. We do have 11 draft picks. We do have some capital to work with. But getting a higher pick is going to take some dough. You know what I mean? Maybe like I've said recently before in other videos about trading Mark Andrews. But this time I just don't know how the Ravens are going to get a higher draft pick. I'm perfectly fine where we are, but to get a higher pick and get the guy you need, it's going to take a lot of asking. Especially with a stacked draft like this one, you got your Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders, Cam Ward, Ashton Genty. All those guys are definitely going to be in the earlier rounds. Not that the Ravens need a quarterback or a running back, but again, I don't think it's happening in terms of getting a really high pick. Getting in those pushing into that top 10 range. I mean, maybe we can push for in the top 20, but I just don't see the Ravens investing so much in for a higher pick this season. For an elite game changer, we're not really going in on it all in on anyone on offense to change the game, or we don't need a super game changer on defense. This draft is going to be all about depth and development. Build the trenches, like I've said in earlier videos. That's where it's going to lead. And with building the trenches, here is a perfect pick that could land at 27 for me. Media outlets believe that this kid is going to land for the Ravens, and I am all for it. Defensive lineman Derek Harmon, product of Michigan State, transferred to Oregon last season. But try to win a championship with Oregon, but Oregon always chokes after the regular season. They're a regular season team for now. Not to bash on you Oregon fans, but embrace reality a little bit. They haven't been very good in the playoffs. But let's talk about Derek Harmon. He's had 114 total tackles, 51 solo tackles, 7.5 sacks, and 3 forced fumbles. Great guy for the Ravens to pick up at the number 27 mark. I think he could be an elite defensive lineman for the Ravens and a great depth pick for the Ravens as well in a position where we really need depth. Harmon could take a starting position up on that defensive line, and we need enough defensive line. Look at how the Eagles dismantled the Chiefs. They had a great defensive lineman, and I believe it starts with Derek Harmon. I think this is a great pick for the Ravens, and I think that any media outlet that has him going to the Ravens is absolutely correct. I think that Ravens general manager Eric DeCosta should look at this kid and say, hey, this is who we need. I would love Derek Harmon to be a member of the Ravens flock, and I think he will absolutely hit the ground running in terms of how he plays and how he contributes to the Ravens team. Let's get into another one. I'm not really so certain about this one. Should the Ravens look at safety depth? I've seen the Ravens look at Malachi Starks, safety in for Georgia. Georgia has had a history of great defensive players. Let's go with Starks here. Has had 198 total tackles, 128 solo tackles, 6 interceptions, 10 pass deflections. A great kid to have in the backfield alongside Kyle Hamilton. But like I've said earlier, I don't know if this is the greatest first round pick for the Ravens, or at least the game changer pick for the Ravens, because we have Kyle Hamilton and you have a Darius Washington. Washington had moved from his previous position as a cornerback to safety because guys like Eddie Jackson and Marcus Williams were not helping the Ravens at all. When they were beside Kyle Hamilton. I think that if we were to get Starks or were to pick him, I think it would still be a good pick. I just don't agree with it. It is very confusing for me to look at a safety as a first round pick for this team. I think Washington is a great pick, or a great backfield presence, but with Kyle Hamilton. If anything, I would go to cornerback if that's the case. Or I can see this happening where the Ravens do pick Starks, but then they move Washington to back to his corner position. But again, why do that when you already have the pick there? I think that I wouldn't be upset by it, but I wouldn't agree with this type of pick. I mean, but Starks is a great prospect for the Ravens, but I just don't know if this is the greatest pick moving to move forward on defense. I think that what I said previously with Derek Harmon is a great first pick. I think that addresses the much needed needs of the Ravens. But hey, what I see is what is on film, and maybe the Ravens see something that they absolutely need in this kid. I, again, wouldn't be upset, but for me, not the pick to go with. Okay. Speaking of depth, you got to start looking at the offensive line. Would it be an unconventional for a pick to go with a first round pick offensive lineman? I mean, the Ravens have done it before. Ronnie Stanley was a first round pick for the Ravens. Left tackle, man, one of the best left tackles the league has ever seen. I can think of two prospects here, and I've seen two prospects that have come up in mock drafts, and I agree with these prospects. Is Donovan Jackson from Ohio State. He would be a great depth build for the offensive line, for the guard position at offensive line. He's a great interior guard. He's a big kid, and he's been a huge part of the offensive line position, or at least the offensive line itself at Ohio State. Another kid that I can see the Ravens picking up is Tyler Booker. He is a product from Alabama, and he has been touted as suited for power run offense, which is exactly what the Ravens need as on an offensive line in the guard position. And he's big and he's agile, and he would be a perfect fit in this Ravens offensive scheme. But again, going a first round pick towards your offensive line, I don't know. I just don't want the Ravens to risk it all. I mean, I do believe that we need to address the offensive line this draft as a whole, but I don't think going for it all in the first few picks is great. I mean, again, we have 11 picks. We can invest in offensive line. We can look at depth later down the line here. But but again, Donovan Jackson and Tyler Booker are great athletes that the Ravens probably would love to have on the team in terms of depth, and they probably would get the starting positions if they do well in camp. But again, I wouldn't go for it all on the offensive line. Let's address the defense first. Get that kid Derek Harmon in there. I think this will be a great, great pick for the Ravens. And even if they go with Starks, I would be okay. Let's see what the Ravens maneuver with here, because I think, again, I would never bash on a kid as talented as Starks, but again, not really a position that the Ravens need right now. Let's address the defensive line, and Harmon is the key to addressing it. Okay, if you disagree with the way I see the picks going, first few rounds or the first round, comment down below. I'm your host, Connor Gioffreda. Thank you for tuning into the Ravens Today show. I will talk to you all later.